Hello. Uh, Welcome, everyone. Uh, we have a star-studded cast of PTCS champions with us tonight. With just Aster. Say hi, Aster.
Hello, and you are a PTCS champion. Just because it was PTCS2 doesn't mean it goes away.
No, but the newly crowned PTCS3 champion, Aster. Uh,
That was definitely a lot of more fun than the last few PTCS to get a win. Not maybe my favorite format, but a win is a win, and I will
what
definitely take it.
what format was it?
It was the weekly, which was just straight open, um, and it did because it was an open format in like 1985 era. There's a little bit of strategy that you can do that I don't think very many people employ. Some people use like go with like four starters and then really rely heavily on the bullpen. And I think that would have was a viable strategy for the format because your bullpen arms are so strong in an open format. Um, the thing is that to some degree there's a big drop off. I mean, if you had the guys like Scherzer um, and Greinke and stuff like that, I don't know that you really wanted them to be pitching less innings if they were pitching well. So what I do instead is I just turn the hooks all the way down. That I'm don't put I didn't put I put I guess like a pitch count like Scherzer had like 140 pitches, but I also had very quick hooks on him, and the idea being if he's pitching well he'll stay in the game, and if he's not then I have a solid bullpen to go to. And the one thing that's interesting, I did make some adjustments kind of mid tournament, is it actually meant that the run environment was surprisingly high, which we'll get to. Is that it ended up, I had kind of almost wore out my bullpen at a couple spots and had to kind of adjust and let my starters kind of have, move the hooks so that the starters got battered a little bit more. But given the fact that the run environment there was a lot of crazy, 10-9 type of games, um, it didn't kill me, but I definitely, it was good that I was around to micro because if I just left it there, I might have, ran into more trouble.
Speaking about formats, these were all the formats for those who had amnesia. Um, I, I qualified for nine again this go around. I didn't wait until the last minute to build them all. I think I built iron. I did build open, iron, bronze, and silver, and then with the future legends drop, I rebuilt my open and silver with the few cards I had, and then built gold, diamond, and wild card weekly and PD daily. A bit of a programming note. I don't think Dish mentioned it, but PTCS4 is 5 weeks of qualifying. Um, so expect numbers to be higher. Um, Maybe in a future stream we can talk about kind of projections. I projected what the cutoffs were for 128, and I used that to kind of help guide um, which tournaments I was trying to enter. And for the most part, I think they were pretty accurate. I missed weekly by like 5 points, which is a little frustrating. Um,
PD Weekly?
PD weekly, yeah. Um, and like made PD daily by like 5 points or something like that. So it was definitely very tight. Where everything else I kind of just floated into somewhere in like the between like 40 and 80th rank for the most part.
Sure. And I mean, we talked a lot, I think we talked about this a little bit a few weeks ago, but, it's an interesting kind of trade off, going for the most formats versus, um, trying to make it to the more top tens. And where do you decide to strike that balance? I've definitely focused a little bit more on trying to be at the top of a couple of categories rather than trying to qualify in more. I think I've qualified in seven each time, and it's a little bit of change between PTCSs in terms of what those seven were, but I really haven't tried to venture down into like iron bronze just because I don't want to sacrifice the slots to not finish in the top 10 in some of the categories where you just can get a lot of bonus points.
Yeah, I remember for the previous ones, there's a lot of like the iron caps and the iron uh, historicals that were a little bit more easier to place in. So if you feel more, uh, you want to try to take advantage of the, um, I guess like if you want to take advantage of the maybe uneducated or people who are trying kind of harder formats. Like I find that if you have a semblance, if you've been watching our streams for a bit, like those are the ones that are probably easier to kind of have an advantage with, but due to understanding historical era implications and
I know. I think
surprisingly the lives as well. So it's
yeah,
like the
that's
straight up open formats where it's just like, yeah, it's pretty RNG, and not that the formats are, I guess, like solved or anything. Uh, yeah, it's like the numbers are pretty low. I can try to dig them up. Uh, let's see
yeah,
what
that was a good.
let's put in. So okay, so here I'll just add a slide and we can talk about them. Um, so if I just add this here. Oh, oh boy. Okay, so this is basically how I've determined what the cutoffs are for the different formats. So PD dailies, just because there are so many, because there's more PD dailies than regular dailies, right? There's like 12, right?
Uh, yeah, I mean, because for any one daily format, there's only four, but then for PD, there's like a dozen. Oh, hold on 1 second.
Someone's getting a phone call. Um, so yeah, so this is basically an average of the cutoffs for the previous three cycles, and I scaled PTCS2, which was 5 weeks, and yeah, so this is basically numbers, and I think they're off maybe by like one or two. I think I scaled these up by 5/4 to get that extra week of qualifying. But definitely it seems like for these ones like open and diamond, like it gets really uh there's a long tail real quick, basically, and the same with wildcards. So it's like there's like 7 people playing or 10 people playing these formats, and then it's just like a bunch of other people who just like randomly enter these, and that's why I think the open and the diamond wildcard are a little bit more easier to kind of qualify for, because if you get lucky and get a second place or get or win a tournament, like yeah, you basically have qualified or at least got really quickly. So to Isadafo's point, that's kind of for that. And iron with like 50 points, that's like 2 wins or um I don't remember what the actual. I have to revisit what uh the breakdown is, because I don't think people have talked about it. Um, yeah, Insert.
In 5 weeks, and you're in. Um, but to get 2 wins, you've got to play a decent number of them. And if you play enough to get 2 wins, you're probably also going to get a lot of other points to, you know, to fully qualify. But um, yeah, you don't have to play very many. I dabbled in silver, and I had like a 3 day stretch where I picked up, I think a first, a second, and a semifinal, and then I was done for the month. And I don't even really think I played them after that.
I think PD weeklies is probably among the hardest to qualify,
Definitely.
just because I think I tried to run like 3/4 of PD weeklies this past week, and I placed, which was nice because I haven't placed very often this cycle. But I played 10. Uh, Ninth Planet Sentinels played 13, and just kind of perusing. It seems like there's a couple of 13s. Uh, I think that's
Yeah,
it.
it's really hard.
Is there more than 13? There's three a day, right? So there's 21 total.
Uh, yes,
Yeah. Okay.
but just they end up filling like about 2 days in advance. So the first the important thing is if you want to try and like qualify in weekly, you've got to be in like the first the first ones on Monday. You got to be in like two of the Monday ones, so then you get in the you know the the Wednesday ones and so forth. That otherwise you're just not going to be able to get to the 11 to 13 over the course of the week. Um, even with PT Plus. Um, so yeah, it's definitely not easy to qualify in weekly. I mean, if you play it the whole month, then probably not. But a lot of people are trying to qualify in both, and you really have to hit a lot of volume in the dailies, and then you just have to get lucky, in one or two tournaments. I actually managed on an alt to win a weekly and not qualify for PTCS3, which I thought was impressive. I had like 8 or 9 more tournaments, and didn't accumulate a single point. So that was fun.
Yeah. So if you basically take these values and take 80% of them, so last week or last cycle for PTCS3, you needed for top 128 for drafts, I think you needed around 55.
That sounds
128 was 54. So if you got
so far.
55, you would have qualified.
Right.
So, um,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
it's
a
hard.
win doesn't do it. You need 2 wins or equivalent number of points, and then for 5 weeks um, you need 2 wins plus maybe a quarterfinal or something like that.
Yeah, I thought for period four, with me being an eighth, I would have like locked up, quote unquote, my qualification. But like even then, that only puts me at
No,
52 points. So
right.
uh,
But still, you
still,
can play. You can now dabble in them for like the next couple of weeks, and then really focus more on the dailies.
right. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm gonna be away in. I guess when does this period end? August 6th. Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
lots of time. Lots of
Yep.
time. Uh, okay. So let's talk about projections. Um, so this was a projection I had off of the 1983 Perfect Draft, which, if I add a tab, um, which is the daily astronomy, I guess. So if I can spell, I have some other stuff. Um, So there's a few things to kind of look at here. Oops, if I paste this, not gonna work. Make this a little bit bigger. So, there's 1983, 1984. These top two rows was basically taken out of the base game, out of whatever historical saves. So you can kind of see home run rates, walk rates, K rates, and then the observed from the perfect draft kind of matches. Home run rates are probably a little higher, but presumably it's because in the historical the card pool in the perfect drafts is probably a little higher than what was in the historical league.
Sure, that makes sense.
So nothing too crazy. BABIP was probably a little bit more suppressed, and again, this is probably a player card pool, like defense being not everyone is playing like the top cards defensively, and not everyone's picking cards with the highest PBABIP in the player pool, so that's probably what's suppressing that. But yeah, and just general, not a lot of stolen bases, and 50-50 shot of being thrown out. So with that being said, some of the pitchers in each of the kind of yeah, I guess we can just keep it like this. Some of the pitchers, let's see, am I doing this correctly? Yeah. Scherzer, Page, like I guess anyone who's been paying attention, like these are your top pitchers basically.
Well, but those, why is it not? You don't have it sorted, taking out the guys that weren't eligible.
Oh, right. Right. So this was defense to now.
Right.
Correct. Just a moment as I reticulate the splines. Um, is that better? Did that refresh? I think it did.
Yep, there we go.
So, uh, yeah, and basically you see like all the new future legend cards. Some of the more accessible ones would have been like Santana for an open, and as we kind of go down and look at pitchers, um, nothing too surprising. Gold, Teddy Higuera, Gavin Stone. A little bit of like a bias, I guess, to higher stuff guys. Um, we get in the silver. Lucas Giolito, who just seems like he's the wrong tier of card.
Yeah,
I think I ended up
I really
playing.
like that Griff McGarry card.
Yeah, McGarry is good. Wimmers is good. Uh, Nothing too crazy. And then bronze is kind of dominated by Giolito. I think I ran Cal Aldred. I made it to the semifinals in bronze, and I think I made some poor decisions, like overemphasizing defense. I had Jose Siri batting in bronze, and my center fielder didn't really do very well. So yeah, I don't know. Pitchers be pitching again. Like this, very much had a feeling of like the old modern engine. Uh, Basically, I don't know
Right.
if you thought of when you're composing your teams, if you're kind of leaning more into how things were prior to the BABIP boost.
A little bit, yeah. I kind of expected that that was kind of going to be the shape of things, um, and that I'm curious to see as we look at the actual numbers, but I think that's how it came out. I think um, there were a few things. I think the power stood out a little bit more than I was expecting, which fits with that. That it was kind of the pre May 15th kind of look of the engine is what drove that power. But you know, I mean, the one thing I noticed is whatever formats I played him in, Giambi was just a monster. Um, he was better than most of the perfect cards that I was playing in open or the weekly.
Yeah, that card is a little silly. Did you have tutor as well in your open build?
No, I could not. I was trying to massively overpay for tutor, but there none came on the market the last like 2 days. Um, I was hoping that he would be put in spotlight packs so that the price would come down, um, which would have meant more people would have had him. Um, but I was, would have been able to get him, presumably at a reasonable price. But as it was, I mean, there was somebody that had a buy order up for I think over 900,000, and it just never got filled in like the day and a half or so prior to the tournament.
Right. So, all right, let's switch over to. I don't know how this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try to switch over to
Results.
the results, the observed. So I had everything but PD Weekly.
Okay.
Let's see. If I bring this back up. Okay. So yeah. So here's kind of the run environment for. Oh, mic's all kind of crazy there. Let's throw some filtering on this just to take a look. But as I kind of do that, anything kind of pop out? Because you've seen this, but you haven't really looked at it, right?
Right. So, yeah, I mean, going through it, it's interesting that with the different formats and different card pools, that you see the strikeout rate, the walk rate, and the home run rate, which are the three things we usually take the quickest look at to kind of get a sense of the shape of the run environment. Not a big disparity among the formats. Obviously, it was all the same baseline year, but the as you move up from the different card pools, it's interesting to see that it was pretty tightly bound. I think to some degree, it's not surprising to see um, that like the strikeout rates were highest in iron and bronze, which have the a lot of the cards that you end up playing for that have high stuff, but don't but a lot of the hitters don't have good avoid K, so that's not that surprising. Um, the walk rate, there's definitely a lot of iron cards that people play just because of the eye, and a lot of the iron pitchers people play don't have very good control. So that's kind of the one real big outlier is seeing that massively higher walk rate in iron than in any other format. Um, and then home runs, not a huge disparity. Um, and then BAPIP is interesting to see just how really basically the BAPIP was way down in the iron and bronze, and then as you moved up, it got higher, but still on the low side for the the newer version of the engine for tournaments. So I definitely think you're right that we saw BAPIPs much closer to the pre-May 15th version of the engine from the 1985 settings, which is not terribly surprising. Like going to MDub's question from earlier, this is about what I thought the run environment would be. Um, based on the the card pool and what we thought of for the engine. Around 6K per nine. The walk rate. I'm surprised to see this big a fluctuation among the different formats, but I was expecting somewhere in the low fours for walks per nine. Home runs. I'm surprised that wild card would have had the highest home run rate. That's kind of interesting. Um,
Wild card was bronze floor, right? I think.
no, it was high gold floor, so it was
Oh,
eight.
high gold.
So
Okay.
so it was 85 or higher. So I just expected that the fact that you just wouldn't have Um,
Well,
uh,
let's take a look at that. Let's see.
okay,
Um, let's do some slicing and dicing of the data.
okay.
Let's add another slicer in here based on the import ID, and then so let's look at who was hitting all these home runs. Uh, Jordan Walker, and then A Rod played a lot. James Wood. So
Yeah.
it's not like didn't seem too crazy. Um,
No.
I wonder if it's kind of related to the pitchers though. Uh, we add imports. Where's my wildcard pitchers? Uh oh. Did I forget to import my wildcard pitchers? Uh, maybe I did.
Do we have the hashtag professional thing for this stream?
Here. Uh, invites were Max Scherzer. It seems like he probably had the most in terms of home runs. Let's filter this a little bit more. Uh, let's go top 25. Yeah, we see like a lot of people pitching Espino or Espino. A lot of people
Yeah, he
pitching
was just
Murray.
didn't cost much cap.
Yeah.
He didn't. He only cost one cap point, so he was going to be a popular pick um, for the back of the bullpen. But yeah, so
So it just, yeah, I think Isadafo is kind of correct in that it's was probably a tighter cap and so on and so forth. Um, do we want to? We can take a look maybe at your team and if anyone's interested in uh, their team, we can kind of take a look at
sure.
some of the data. So yeah, your gunner apparently did better than your Giambi.
Is this is this this is open though?
Yeah.
Don't you have weekly?
Oh, you. Oh, right. Weekly. Yeah. Do I have weekly? I thought I did. Is weekly here?
No.
I don't know. Just a moment. Let's pull that. Professional, exactly. I thought I had it. 108002. No, I totally forgot to pull that. That's cool. That is cool. Well, we'll pull it in and we'll take a look. See how magical this is. Um, I'll do the quick and dirty way. Players right there. Man, my computer's been kind of slow the past little bit. I see a Grabster in there. So let's go add some stuff down here. Let's do paste. Make sure this all works. Whoops. Yeah, we have the data. Delete this. We'll call this weekly. Oops. It's 108. We'll delete this row. And then we'll update this. Hopefully the sheet doesn't crash. Because Excel is awesome. Shit. Weekly. There we go. Giambi did not crush. It was actually Jordan Walker and limited appearance and Cody
Right.
Bellinger. But still,
Next, sorry, I got another phone call. I'll be right back.
okay. While that's going on, we can kind of take a look at the bronze team from Breslau. So, me picking Jose Siri, probably not the right pick here. If we wanted to kind of look at who was the best in the format at center field, it ended up. This is way too much. Let's go filter this to like top 15. A lot of people played Billy Hamilton, who apparently was good. My favorite player, and I would say MVP of PTCS 2, Brad Wilkerson, probably was a better play. But Jose Siri ended up. Jose Siri was bad for the format, and my Jose Siri was particularly bad with a 13 WRC plus. I give a lot of at bats to him, and same with Greg Gagne. Greg Allen. Did anyone play Greg Allen? Let's for center field. Oh yeah, Greg Allen. He's up there. Maybe it was right. Maybe the 85 plate appearances were all you needed. So yeah, I don't know. Even going down to play, I think I rock this as favorite center fielder Brett Phillips. Might have been the right play, but I think I guess despite of my my defensive leanings, I still made it to the semifinals because it was you can just see like Greg Gagne, nothing. Jose Siri, nothing. Man, these are like pitiful. So going back to Aster and the weekly, this was my weekly team. My budget beasts with Chris Hoyles and Jason Dominguez. And eventually going back to the Millers. Yeah, anything that kind of like was this kind of as expected? I feel like Sandberg kind of underperformed, but maybe not.
Yeah, he actually though he redeemed himself because he in Game 6 of the finals he had like a home run and then like a 2-run double. So he closed it out for me. So I you know have accepted his apology for his otherwise bad performance. Inky doing that badly was a bit surprising, although I didn't play him a ton. Um, I think
Gila with 100% extra base hits is a little. What is this? He had.
Yeah, I think I kind of stopped playing him midway through the tournament just because he didn't feel like he was doing anything for me, and like I had him set up as a DH anyway, so I just went with guys who were hotter.
Isadafo, is there anything you want pulled up? Florence Bay Cats.
Julio Franco tearing it up in 41 plate appearances.
Oh wow. This is the crazy part that in like 66 plate appearances isn't a lot, but like still to bat like 163 and 66
Nothing.
plate appearances from like the best card in the game.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's just crazy bad.
Uh, so yeah, so I guess if we In Diamond, I think I thought my build was good and got beaten round two. Sure. So yeah, Giambi, everyone was pretty good. Colson Montgomery was not very good, but it seems like that was about it. Maybe take a look at some pitching. Diamond, I liked my team as well, and it also did poorly. Um,
Yeah, I think I lost like in the first round of Diamond.
yeah, Bobby Miller and Grayson Rodriguez. I had those two cards as well, and I think like if we look at my team as well, I think they were equally. I ended up paying like 110K for the two cards. Uh, oh, I didn't even make it out of the first round, but yeah. Um, Hunter Brown blew up. Bobby Miller blew up. Grayson Rodriguez blew up. Uh, and then if we kind of just look at pitchers in general, let's limit this to kind of top 15. Ricky Tiedemann. I feel like the pitchers. Uh, I'm a little surprised by this, but maybe not. I guess variance is just yeah. We all know variance
Yeah,
is
I mean it's
crazy.
it's such a small sample size for pretty much all these pitchers, but um, the top 10 cards are the cards that I thought would have been the top 10, but the order is a little surprising. Which if we played this out a few more times and had more data, I mean I don't think Tiedemann would be the number one card, but yeah, I'm surprised at some of the cards that I really thought shape wise in Diamond. Um, that
Hunter Brown.
you know Well, no, Hunter Brown. I actually didn't think to play because of his shape, but I thought like maybe Necro would be a little bit better um, than he perhaps was. I thought the Grenke might be. I didn't actually play them, but I thought, yeah, Oswald would be another one that I would have expected maybe to be better. Um,
Yeah, they were all kind of cards that I ranked. Like they
yeah,
were like fifth or sixth.
right.
Because I think
But I
I had.
thought that Grayson Rodriguez, Miller, and Painter were just such good cards that almost the shape didn't matter. That you kind of had to play them, and then Burley I thought was going to be one of the best options for the format. Um, and then I didn't really know who to start as my fifth starter. I kind of bounced around between Key and
You
I
know what
can't
it
remember
might
who I
be that
ended
I
up with.
think it might be like a platoon thing because if you look here, actually, no, that doesn't make any sense. All the top batters were right-handed, so having like the top pitcher be left-handed is a little odd.
Yeah,
Oh wait, this is the wrong. Hold on.
that's throw.
Yeah, that's throw. That's not useful here.
Yeah.
There we go. So
Okay,
like
so
this makes sense. So if it's James Wood, well, Thames has reverse splits, so
right,
but like
but Yelich, um,
Volpe
Chris
has reverse
Davis,
splits.
yeah,
So really like Wood pretty much had the it was Wood and Volpe everyone played, and they actually do
right,
worse against lefties.
sure. I guess that makes a little bit of sense, and uh, Judge is better against righties, oddly. Um, so yeah, so I guess maybe that's part of why Tiedemann, might have done well. But I really thought Burley would have done very well given that same thing, and he was okay. Um, but I thought he would have been lights out, and it doesn't look like he was. But it's also tough. It's a card not everybody has because it's an LE, so we don't get a ton of sample.
Uh, check out gold. Um,
Okay.
Nolan Ryan. This card is quickly becoming one of my favorites. Um,
Yeah, it's a fun card. It's I find I'm using it as a bullpen piece in a lot of different formats.
yeah,
That walk rate is comical though.
it's like a mini like herb score or Vita Blue type of thing, but a little bit more extreme.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, like comparing Nolan Ryan with Hideo Nomo. If you just like the K rate is about the same, the home run rate is about the same, the walk rate is about the same, but the BABIP is like 70 points. Is that card really like has that much more PBABIP?
I didn't.
I didn't think so.
I mean,
It's
the Ryan card is
seven.
good. Yeah, but the Nomo I didn't think was bad.
Checking it out now. Yeah, they both have the same, so I'm a little confused. Or it's
So
just
that's
small
just
samples.
I mean, it's small sample size. I mean, you're talking about under 400 innings combined, way less than 400 innings combined. So yeah, that's um,
Let's see, does he show up in this one? No. But Lucas Giolito does. This is everything that we have. This is all the data. So
oh okay. So
Lucas Giolito is a
he
good
was the
card.
best
Uh,
for the eras where he was used. He was the best. He was the best pitcher. That's funny. Who is Dan
Dan
Petrie?
Petrie.
Oh, an iron
Petrie.
card. Petrie.
Yeah. Al Leiter I saw in a lot of iron builds. I didn't end up playing him. Uh I guess if we do the same silly exercise here. Oh, look, Alex Rodriguez is a good card. Who'd have thunk it? Um,
Surprise! Surprise! Surprise!
a lot of people playing Jeff
It's interesting that
Mathis.
Colson Montgomery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Colson Montgomery card would seem pretty good.
yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Like, there's not a lot of irons on this. I guess you get like a bit of like a good distribution across everything. Um, I guess if we go and look at like the daily
Right.
PDs,
Well, the thing is, the cards that are best in iron for the most part are going to be high irons, and you're just not going to use them at all in the caps. Whereas I think some of the other cards that are like silver or golds that um, uh, you might actually use them more. Um, yeah, Estafo, I agree. Colson Montgomery definitely in the gold would have a much better place in the gold meta if people were running more righties. But
well, it
I
still
don't know how
looks
much.
like
Even though he's good, I don't know how much people are going to use Espino.
I've tried to use them and get it like okay results, I guess. Like Espino and Apple are the two kind of right-handed pitchers that I'm trying to throw more in force in my gold builds to no avail.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, if we get a couple more players like that, then it becomes interesting to kind of go counter and figuring that everybody's loading up on right-handed batters, um, and then you try and zag until people adjust. But we just haven't gotten the right-handed pitchers that I would like. That just having two of them, I don't think helps much. You really, you want more to work with.
Yeah, that Lucas
Anything else you want to
Giolito.
look at in the stats?
I don't know. I'm pretty good. My PTCS Randy Johnson contributed to the 167 innings pitched. Um, what? How did he do actually? I don't even remember how far I got in this one. Breslau. My Yuri doing ridiculousness. And Bobby Miller disappointing.
You got pummeled.
weekly. That bullpen card. Could you look at my silver team, the River Bats? Yeah, we can take a quick look. What's the first name? What's the city?
I think it's Sacramento.
Sacramento. So yeah, just bad rolls with Griffin, with Cal, Nolan. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
What was my first? Yeah, Bill Hall. I think I tried to play Bill Hall too, and didn't have a good time. I thought he would have played better. I'm a
Yeah.
little interested who's
Shortstop's
kind
just
of
a
the
tough. Shortstop's just a tough position in a lot of these formats. There's not a lot of guys that have a glove and even the semblance of a bat. So Hall always looks interesting because he's got a pretty decent glove and a solid, what looks like it should be a solid bat, but I don't know.
he thinks his war is good, even though he
Oh
didn't.
well, then in that case,
In that case, it also thinks Christian Hernandez is very good. So yeah,
I like Christian Hernandez a lot, but as a third baseman.
Mason Wynn. Yep, that's a good card. Uh, yeah, kind of look at silver shortstops. People playing maybe Blauser at short. Maybe it didn't matter his defense, but um, yeah. All right.
Interesting.
Let's continue on with some of the other stuff. Well, so let me stick this up here. So top tens.
Okay. So gonna look at a couple different categories this week. I'm trying to bounce it around. We haven't done this in a couple weeks, so this is gold through 14 weeks. Um, has 12 top tens in 14 weeks. Um, Dan Johns has 3 straight wins in gold, which is pretty impressive, and I think a streak of 7 or 8 weeks in a row, making the top 10. So I don't think he was really focusing on the dailies for the first few weeks of the year, but has come on very strong in gold. There's not a lot of people that play gold exclusively. There's a lot of people that kind of dabble in gold. So there's definitely room if you focus on that as a format to probably pretty consistently make the top 10. Uh,
We were talking about that before about how I've just been queuing gold and I ended up second, but I played what like 24 out of 28 events. I missed out on I think a couple of like early golds because I played a weekly. But like right now I'm sitting in if I haven't been booted, I'm sitting in like 4 daily gold tournaments that won't fire for 24 hours, which is a little
right. I mean that's
painful,
the
but
that's the tough thing is that if you want to play exclusively gold, you can't really play much else beyond that because the 2 open gold formats, you basically have to sign up 24 hours, like 23 hours in advance, and then gold cap you can get in, like usually I sign up before I go to sleep, and then it's kind of going on when I wake up in the morning. Um, and I don't live. How far in advance does live gold fill?
all of the gold stuff really doesn't fill like in the past 2 weeks I would say I noticed in the past like couple days like it's now filling about 12 hours in advance. It's no longer like
Okay.
24, but
Yeah, so you
like
can maybe get into a few other things.
yeah I just like I'm tired of making teams, so I haven't even. I have to even update some of these rosters. I think one of them got borked by the Golden Sombrero. Like it loaded like a cap roster into one of the open formats, and so I have to kind of go back and fix that. But yeah,
That shouldn't happen because usually tournaments that have a set cap um, don't load for open. So I'm surprised.
I don't know if what it. Maybe it's the gold cap that got borked, but one of them was like because is Golden Sombrero an era tournament? I don't remember. One
I don't think so.
I thought it like loaded. No, it's not. Okay. I don't know what happened. I just remember
Okay.
I like looked in one
I
of my
would say more
teams and
likely
like
is that you had a live card in there that um,
maybe that's what happened. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
it was
I had a couple live cards just like Christian Pash is a guy that I was playing in like every cap in the outfield, and he went from 42 to 47, so that threw me off. And then a bunch of my like 40 overall pitchers that I've been using went to like 45 to even I think one went up to like a 49. Um,
right. Yeah. It
so that threw everything off.
I'll have to go in and like focus on stuff, but
Sure.
it's a struggle right now. Next, silver.
Silver. Go Cubs, Go 16, and Robert Cat have been the dominant players in silver for pretty much the whole cycle. Um, Go Cubs Go also had a 3 week streak recently that ended with a third place finish, so pretty strong. And yeah, so silver's another format that I think there's a couple players that play it very consistently, and that's their focus. But more people I think just kind of dabble at it, similar to gold. Um, but obviously, if you want to play that exclusively that format at the top, you're competing with at least 3 or 4 teams that are pretty consistently at or near the top and are going to be very highly competitive. The tough thing with silver is the two open silver formats. One is like 1919, and the other one is modern. But it'll load the same roster unless you are like really on top of it, and going in each time to load the correct roster, which just seems like a lot of pain and work. And I'm sure it's a big advantage if you're doing that. Um, but I don't know. That just seems like a lot of extra effort.
Uh, this is one that'll probably just maybe in weeks later on in the month, like just play that open era tournament. Just
Yeah, I
to
mean, I play just Silver Cap because it's another one where I can sign up, um, like right before I go to bed, and then or sometimes even when I wake up in the morning and still get in it. So you don't have to queue nearly as long as some of the other formats.
right. Next, daily bronze.
Um, so bronze is interesting. There's kind of nobody that um, has been in every week. Consistently at the top. I think if you look, some of the people just kind of have moved around. Like I know Jim Bowden, was in, was, for the first 5 or 6 weeks was playing bronze, and then I think went to iron or went someplace else. But so some of that is just people moving around more, and not really like finding a home in bronze. But I also think that once you get to bronze and iron, it's just so hard to play, just that one format, and to so much of your schedule has to be built around, um, which, what when exactly these fire and making sure you're in front of the computer, in the half hour after they fire to be able to get into the next one. Um, and just that just makes it really difficult because then you're essentially using two of your slots on the same tournament, because you're in it and then you want to already be in the next one. it's just kind of really, I think, challenging to manage that, and just doesn't sound fun to me. Like I've been tempted to just like take a week and be like, I'm just gonna see how I can do in bronze, but just the schedule aspect of signing up just doesn't sound very appealing to me.
Daily late bronze, which just fired an hour ago, is at 31 out of 64.
Right. So maybe it's slipping a little bit that you don't have to be right there, but still you're probably you're most likely, if you're reasonably good at it, you're not going to be. It's a best of seven, so you're not going to be out of it for a while. And if it fills up before you're knocked out, then you have to use two spots at once for the same tournament. So that's pretty tricky.
The closest one to filling right now is Daily Historical Iron, which is going to fire in 21 hours. Um, and then there's like stuff like Open High Cap, which just always takes forever to fill. Daily
Yeah,
Gold
that's
Cap with 8 hours remaining is still 32 to 64. Um,
So that's one that's nice to get into because also at a certain point, like for me, after like daily open high cap fires, there's just nothing else um, until the morning. So then I can jump into gold cap or silver cap and have those for the morning. And also that high silver floor, low diamond ceiling usually fills before I wake up in the morning. So that's another one that I'll sign up for before I go to bed sometimes. And then there's the crazy ones. Um, like Daily Diamond, you have to sign up so far in advance, which surprises me. I guess it's just a popular format. Um, and then overalls, I'm starting to. I had fallen pretty far behind Viffers in um, perfect points won from top tens, but I'm starting to catch up a little bit, and the two of us are kind of pulling away from the rest of the pack. So, um, but I need to. I've only finished in the top 10 in 6 of the 10 categories. I think that's my next random task is to try and qualify. Make the top 10 in some of the categories that I haven't. Just kind of looking for new fun things to try and do.
um, it was kind of funny. I messaged KC86 because we faced off in the daily PD draft in PTCS, and he's like, "Oh God, what am I facing you in?" I'm like, "Daily PD," and then I ended up winning, and I was like, "Oh, I feel bad," because I was just like, "Well, I was glad I could participate in this," and it was kind of funny because that reverse jinx happened on me in Diamond when someone called me out and be like, "Oh my God, I'm facing Exoforus. What a..." It's like, please be gentle, and then I lose that in six. So if you really want to win a tournament, call or like a round in a tournament, call out your opponent and say, "Well, congratulations on your win." And I would say 55% of the time it works every time.
You got to try something. I mean, some people, go on Etsy and find a shaman. Some people, worship some deity. Others call out their opponents. Whatever works, give it a try. Um, Anything else you want to cover for this week?
Nope. I don't know if TJ is gonna be live, but we can.
Assume not, given he streamed last night, but we'll
It
see.
says he's going to continue, so maybe he is gonna stream again. But
Okay.
if not, I don't know. We can stream into Doctor Dynastic. If you don't know who he is, he does a really great job doing play by play. Like among the best I've ever heard. To be fair, I don't really follow it too often, but I figure that's what we'll end up doing. Let's raid.
Okay.
Dr. Dynastic. I think that's how you spell it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
real quick before we go, we're probably going to be trying to figure out a next tournament lab format in the next week or two. So if you have any suggestions, please send me a message on Discord or Exto. Just a format you'd like to see, maybe an era you'd like to have us focus on, or card restriction. Let us know. Sometimes we kind of combine a couple couple of different ideas into one. But if you have like the whole thing set up of like the cap and the era and card restrictions, all that, please reach out. Let us know what you think. We're always happy to have ideas. Otherwise, I'll try and come up with something again. And some work, some don't. But it's more fun if we get some input and can incorporate other people's ideas in terms of what they want to do. But yeah, so I think that's about it for this week.
in
We
terms
ready
of
to
the
raid?
restrictions, it's the same as last year, right? I
Yeah,
haven't heard anything from Nicolino.
yeah, they don't seem to have anything new. It's just, we can do, any continuous era. It can be a combination of multiple eras or one specific one. But we can't do like, rebirth and defense, like because those two aren't contiguous. It has to be, a stretch of eras that are contiguous. Thing with overall, we can obviously cut it off, at 40, at 50, at 60, 65, 70, 75. um,
I
a
like the low
super
cap
low
idea
cap.
because that would
uh,
be uh that would be 1220. That would be a 3.
um, so like iron an iron super low cap, that would be interesting. The problem is
No, no,
that
no.
would make
You
a
just have it
card,
an open super low cap.
right.
But I
What
guess
I'm
then
saying is it's
that's
basically it's the same as an iron. You can't. um,
well, you'd like
I
run
guess
Bullet
you're right.
Joe
You could
Rogan
potentially.
and John Donaldson and
And nothing else.
and a bunch of irons. So
So an open like 1250 cap or something like that.
yeah, because isn't what is the current low cap?
1500.
Oh yeah, so like 1200 would be 1250 would be kind of that would be like 3.5. But yeah, I think that
I'll play with the numbers a little bit and see. That might be fun.
set in 1978. I don't know, but yeah, some just throwing out dates.
Okay.
Just stretching for time to see if they actually go live. It doesn't look like they're gonna go live. It's 9:01.
Uh,
So yeah. Enjoy Dr. Dynastic and yeah.